So I was thinking about kind of a banner under which I could place these snapshots of Larry's life under. And I came up with one, but I'm not going to tell you what it is until I tell you the little snapshots, okay? So see if you can guess the banner under which I'm going to place all these snapshots of Larry's life, at least that I'm aware of, which has only been the last 15 years, but there's been some awesome ones. So the first snapshot is in a very desolate place that has just been devastated by Hurricane Katrina. And we fly into the airport and start working on some of the recovery efforts that are needed there. And there's a team of people that are actually doing it out of Biloxi. Larry's on that team. Janice, Larry's mom, was on the team as well. And it was a group of people that came together and really had in their heart and in their minds to make a difference in the lives of the folks that were down there. Larry did all sorts of, I can't tell some of the stories, but they're good. Oh, you know, if we have a chance to talk, we'll tell those stories. But Larry demonstrated awesome leadership in working with that team and really making a difference in the lives of people down there. I saw Larry put into action his conviction. I see that a lot. Another snapshot. This actually includes Debbie. And this one was at the church years and years ago when I first met them. And we were sitting in a circle. And Tim, my husband, and I were leading a small group discussion. And Debbie and Larry, along with the others in the group, were sharing faith stories and studying together. And Larry and Debbie shared a profound story that just sticks in my mind about how they are faithful to their commitment to the church. And this is a financial commitment that they're talking about here. Even in the tough times, when things seem slim, and in the full times when things were plentiful. And I really thought that spoke to their character. And they talked about how God was so faithful to them during those times and how they were just tremendously blessed. But more importantly is, or the point I want to make is that fast forward a few years, the snapshot changed. Larry and Debbie were in the chairs that Tim and I were, being leaders of a small group. And making that happen, that kind of experience happen for other people. Great leadership there. Larry told me I had 3 minutes, and I've got 5 snapshots. So I'm going to have to speak a little less about each snapshot. The next one is a beautiful, beautiful place where I get to hang out. 4 brightly colored, cheerful classrooms filled with preschoolers. Now, I would say that the #1 reason why people make a decision about preschool, there's academics and all of that, but it's the way the facility looks. And we have been able to grow our preschool because we have a beautiful, beautiful facility. Larry served as a site superintendent for that project. So he actually took time off from his job in real estate. He was running some properties, took time off to recruit volunteers, to train the volunteers, to prepare the volunteers, to organize the volunteers that were going to do all the work to renovate 4 classrooms and made them absolutely pop, and they were absolutely wonderful. We now have twice as many kids as we had before, but for much longer periods of time, the budget went from $50,000 to $350,000 in a couple of years because of creating an environment. Larry had a huge hand in making that happen. My final picture of Larry, I think I skipped one, but the final picture is actually something that I get to do with Larry very often. It again is sitting around a table, and there's 3 or 4 or 5 other people around that table. And their responsibility is to carry out the vision that has been presented by our parish planning council, so by our church council. So he's in one of the highest governance teams that we have in our congregation, and he's the lead of that team. And so he helps direct that vision and how that gets accomplished in our congregation. So now back to that banner that I was talking about. You might say great volunteer coordinator. You might say great organizer, leader, good guy. You might say crazy. You might say a lot of things about what that banner might read. But I'm going to suggest that it says servant leader. Larry, in everything that he does, serves and then uses his leadership to do that. Robert Greenfield, who's really the father of servant leadership, says servant leadership starts with serving. And then a person intentionally decides to lead from that desire of service. I think those are awesome attributes for a person who's running for public office. And I think Larry's a perfect person under that banner of servant leadership. So with that, I'm going to hand it on to